Live
from Los Angeles, the hell spot. It is.
Yes. We are live right now. Obviously, you don't know how to use the internet.
Who?
And here's the misnomer. Again, let me inform you. It has nothing to do with how many people are in Los Angeles County. It has how many people are in the metro area, which are like 5 counties or more, right?
Yeah.
Would you say it's 5 counties? Which LA, I think, square mileage wise, is not the biggest county in LA area. Is it Riverside?
No, I think LA is. It's fucking huge.
I always thought Riverside was land mass wise is bigger than LA County. There's like 22 million people ish in LA Metro, not including San Diego.
San Bernardino's bigger.
San Bernardino's bigger. I'm sorry. But what are the counties? You got Ventura, LA, San Bernardino, Riverside. What's
Orange,
the fifth?
Orange. Orange.
Orange County. Yeah, why do I leave out Orange County?
There you go. That's a lot of people. A lot of record stores.
I think the New York metro area is like 26. Something like that.
Yeah. Mexico City's like a jillion.
Yes, a jillion people live there. I think you're the only one from Riverside that comes in here. There could be another, but I think it's you.
Riverside.
When I tell people, like, one thing I used to say doing market research is like, name like the second largest city with the second largest gay population. People go, well, San Francisco. And I go, I don't think San Francisco is even a top 10 city population wise.
It's small.
It's small. It would be Houston, Texas, people, because that's like the 3rd or 4th largest city in the U.S. More people, more of everything.
Riverside's got, I guess Temecula is, I don't know if that's Riverside. There's a couple of good stores in Temecula. 29 Palms.
Yeah, but then Temecula is very close to San Diego, though,
BBC right? In Corona. Redland Vinyl. There's a lot of...
yeah, we have to go visit those stores, but you refuse.
So, yeah. I wonder how Harry's doing. He's in transit. He flew into California last night.
No, he didn't. It takes so long from Washington to the beginning of California. That's like 1 day's trip.
More than that.
And then, technically, from where the beginning of California, he's stopping in San Francisco. So that's almost 2 days trip, or 1.5 days trip. Something like that.
Yeah, 29 Palms, white label vinyl.
I have Fluffy, historically, and people can see from watching this, I have zero agenda every day. I don't even know if I have records to show. I have records that will be in the auction. I'm doing a preview video later today that will be posted tonight of all the exciting things in the auction. Lots of good stuff. A lot of Mal Waldron. I have a lot of non-jazz stuff. So we'll see.
In the auction.
Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So there you go. Oh, what's up? Right there.
South Africa.
Yeah. How you doing down there with the mass exodus of white people? That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah.
All right. Damn B. Calm down, damn B.
Oh,
There'd be a better chance of a monkey coming out of your butt, Chauncey.
and Mac Davis. There will
Yes.
be
The new
James.
one is it's the Bob James record that everyone has to get.
Mac Davis on Reel to Reel. That's what I need. That's exactly what I need, Fluffy.
Thank you for your geography traveling hour time thing.
5 hours to get you through Oregon. I drove from Ashland to Portland once, and it seemed like a lot. But I did stop. I made stops though. Eugene and
Is that sideways?
no, that's north and
East
south.
to west? It's north to south?
Ashland's near the California border. Portland's near the Washington state border. But cool drive. Weird signage, I will say. But
I really only been around Portland. My experience of Oregon is Portland. That's it.
there's a very famous collector in Grants Pass. I can't remember his name. Pre-World War II blues. Guy travels all over the country.
So was it all 78s?
Yeah. And he lives and has a warehouse in Grants Pass. Ashland has a good record store.
Chris Record Talk. I don't think people appreciate you bringing culture to the stream.
And it does have the Shakespeare Festival every summer. Southern Oregon University is there, I think. My friend Carl just moved there.
All right, here's a question for you.
Yeah, Tef Teller. Tef Teller's in Grants Pass. Yeah, great guy. Yep, John Tef Teller. I got to see one of his warehouses. Stacks of pre-World War II 78s.
Dan B, you'll have to come to the auction. The starting bids come out of this perfectly equipped brain and mind of mine.
I saw an interesting interview with her, the singer, on the YouTubes. She was talking about what was being a kid and
can I do an imitation of her interview?
Yeah.
Is this
but with a Canadian accent, but it's Canadian though.
Does she talks? She sings so soft.
She said they were blown away when they did the Tonight Show. These kids from Canada, and the backstage, the Blue Room was basically a bar. And she said everybody was drinking and everybody was having a great time. Sounded kind of fun. 80s.
I thought you just came by to say hi, not give us your dietary intake for the day.
Cashews today. Margot Timmons, yeah.
Yeah, well, that will be in the auction, along with many other good things. Watch the preview video later today. I have 2 boxes full records, so right over here, there's probably over 200 records. I don't get through that many, but that's what I have available to me. Lots of good stuff. And then
all right, let's start trolling
Stefan.
There's no humor here, Stefan.
Hey, yeah, Stefan, did you ever find that Harold Land Dollar Brand record for me? Let me know in the comments below.
Where's
hey, I have a couple Gong records in there. I have a bunch of Brian Eno. I have a lot of Van Gelder stamps. I have lots of good stuff, man.
I scored a good record at that new record store up in Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village.
Greg's record store. It's Flowering Spikes.
Yeah,
everyone go there. Okay, someone's here to be. Goodbye. We ban you. Thank you. I'm laser focused.
That was fast.
You know what? I wouldn't mind putting CDs in the auction if enough people asked. I have a lot of CDs, but people have to ask if they want them.
I love CDs.
Yes.
I love them now. C-Ski here, you know, $3.99.
Yes.
I'm so cheap.
This is an opportunity to show all your CDs. I picked up 2 CDs recently. So I buy CDs. I ordered them actually off of Discogs. Let me go retrieve them. They're over here. Okay? Jim, entertain the people.
All right. So I have a very cheap ass Denon $300 CD player. And it sounds better than streaming. Although I have a pretty cheap streamer too, but I have a decent DAC.
That was horrible. Okay. You know, my recommendation is go to Goodwill. I actually have an Oppo.
Yeah, just
I have an Oppo. I luckily found an Oppo for $20 at a thrift store.
Oh, well, you're so
That's
cool.
hooked up to my TV. Up to my stereo, I found a Sony 3D CD player, which seems to play every kind of digital media that could be put on a CD. And it sounds perfectly fine. So the ones I picked up, because this is a label Maple Shade from some dude, and it's actually the headquarters is in the town I grew up in Maryland, Upper Marlboro. But I knew nothing of this guy. So this is a Clifford Jordan show live at Ethel's, which was a club in Baltimore. This guy was very meticulous on how he recorded. And people say, so P-Vine put out a vinyl version of it, which the story is it's not even needle drop. It's probably from the CD. But I played this, and this CD sounds pretty awesome. And I got this for $5. And there's another Maple Shade. This is a Clifford Jordan big band, and the lineup on this is crazy. I mean, it says here on the cover, it's with Junior Cook, Charles Davis, Benny Powell, and Diddy Reese. But the biggest thing on here is John Jenkins. This is, I think, his last known live recording. This is probably from the 80s. He gave up playing in 65, but came back to it. And this is his last known recording before he passed away. But it's a crazy killer lineup on this one. And this was like $5 or $6 from the same seller. So go get these. Get both of these. These are good. John Jenkins, it's crazy, huh? You find an original John Jenkins Blue Note, that thing's a lot of money. I have the Music Matters version of it. So there you go. Those are CDs, people.
John Jacob Jinkenheimer Smith.
Yeah, he knows my name too. Yeah. His name is your name, my name too. Right?
I don't know the rest. It was after my time. I have children that sang that song. I have tattoos older than your records.
Yes, and you've been kicked out of record stores because of your tattoo. You've been discriminated against.
Well,
I don't even know. Do you think that audio show we went to, and that whole hotel full of people in rooms, was there a CD player being shown at any of those rooms?
I think there was one.
If I held a gun to your head,
they were streaming.
If I held a gun to your head, which I would like to do, what would be if someone said, "Look, I need a CD player. Which one should I get?"
I have some audiophile friends that are always telling me to get something that's like 20 years old, but if you look online, they're all parts only. You know what I mean?
Does
So,
anyone out there know of like the high end CD player that people hook up to their high end systems? Does anyone know a brand name that is still made today?
I'd like to take issue with Jazz Bums Chris saying that song is from the 19th century. They didn't speak English in the 19th century. They didn't have singing then.
Oh, actually, I know a song from the 19th century. You want me to sing it for you?
Please. Yeah. So,
You know, I was gonna say Marantz, that I thought it was Marantz, but a Luxman.
Stefan Luxman, he's just tossing out all this killer.
Wait. A Luxman is $9,000. Does that sound right to you, Jim?
Yeah, could very easily. Very easily.
I'm curious.
Next one. My friend Cisco Audio is making it's a DAC. They're making a DAC now.
Since the CDs have ruined the VC. Here.
I think Richard's got it nailed, the Cambridge transport.
Ecstatic. Okay, I trust Richard knows stuff. So how much would that machine cost?
I don't know, probably around a Giesel.
I'm telling you right now, that's since 3D DVD players have kind of faded away because no one cares about 3D in the home. That player I have, that Sony, plays excellent. Very happy with it. It was like 10 or 15 bucks. Oh, he says it's $400.
Oh, awesome.
Do you know a deal? Is there a dealer that you know that sells that?
You probably get them at Amazon. I don't know.
Really? Hold on. Cambridge
Audio is good.
Transport.
Aren't they from England or something?
No, they're from Cambridge, Massachusetts, aren't they?
Oh, they're from Cambridge, South Carolina.
Okay, I found one on Music Direct. It's $600 Arenas. Let me show it. Let's see if I can show it.
I have a Denafrips Aries DAC that I got used, and it works great. Much better than I have a $95 DAC that sounds like an $89 DAC.
Here it is right here. $600. You can get it with a black back.
That's probably the one to get.
But it's just
you need
there's
a
no
DAC.
other ports. There's no ports.
We look it up to a DAC and then to your stereo.
Okay, I'm not that advanced. So there you go.
Yeah, there's tons of good DACage. Mazzy's got a great DAC.
Do you like it, Tom Smith? So you have to put it through a DAC.
I believe so. I have a friend.
Wait, hold on. Chris, don't tell me you have like the Onkyo is like 70 CD thing.
I have the Sony single one that you can just hook up to your stereo too, or headphones.
I mean, I have the Oppo hooked up to my TV to watch DVDs and Blu-rays. Unfortunately, does anyone know? Oh, Jack has it too. Does anyone know that they discontinued the Oppo players, but the greatest thing about them is they would constantly update the firmware to it? Is there someone out there secondary that's creating the firmware for the Oppo players? Does anyone know that? If I had to guess one thing about you, Dan B, it'd be this.
I have a Denon that I bought for $2.99 about 10 years ago. Yeah, the Oppos are great, but
Wait.
everyone knows
Rega makes a CD player?
who?
Rega?
Yeah, probably. Everyone does.
No one
Apparently-
has the information if Oppo's is still updating, or someone secondarily is updating the firmware for it.
Stefan must know. He referred one. They probably are not updating firmware.
They aren't, because they moved it to like cell phones, which will probably be what the Trump phones are from.
Yeah, I think you can use a PlayStation.
Yeah, well, actually, the PlayStation is the best you could buy because they're always updating the firmware, or a whatever the Microsoft one is.
Ryan Anderson is offering to update your firmware. I'm hoping that's not a euphemism for something.
Listen, Ryan Anderson, you're nothing but troublemaking person.
Yeah.
Not
much happening in the world of music. Oh, I think I'm getting a preamp. Making a deal on a Prima Luna Evo 400 preamp. 300.
Yeah. She's gonna get. Hold on, Harry has one. Yeah, I found one for $20. That's how I have mine. It was very lucky for me.
I saw one for 200 parts only.
Well, that person's probably not going to get that for that.
You got to go to yard sales to find these things. People know what they're worth.
How much is the Rega one? Let me go look up Rega CD player.
Eddie.
Rega. Wow, that ain't cheap. It's like $1,400.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Yeah. I mean, how does it better? Better parts?
No, they yeah. The problem
Better
with
wiring?
The problem with CD is something, there's a few problems, but something called jitter.
Mm-hmm.
Jitter. And it costs money to get rid of jitter. And that's the deal. That's why you can sit and listen to records forever, and CDs sometimes you're like, because you can't handle the jitter. And there's some other problems. But I still enjoy my CD player. It does sound better than streaming in my system. Records sound better because I have a lot more money invested in record playback than I do in those other types. Yeah, it's the clock. You got to have everything lined up at the same time. That's not easy to do, apparently.
How much does a good DAC cost?
A grand? 800, 900?
I'm okay with my setup right now. It's fine.
You know, sometimes you have to make do, guys. What are the best bagels in LA? Would you?
All right. Okay. So here's the funny thing. We don't get many things opening in Santa Monica. I don't know why. It just maybe costs too much for rent. But recently, the H&H Bagels from New York opened here. And they ain't good. They're not good. We have lots of bagel places here in LA. There's one of those. There's these kind of artisan high-end bagel places opening up all over LA that people brag about.
Right.
Phooey. There's one here on Ocean Boulevard in Santa Monica. The crusts are too hard. Here we have Bagel Nosh. Bagel Nosh in Santa Monica, excellent bagels. Those are very good.
I'm with Jeff K. Myers.
No. Western Bagel, I mean, if you're desperate, but they're white people bagels. They're West Coast. They're not.
They're
Bagel
not white
Nosh.
people bagel. They are Jewish bagels.
They're white people. Western bagel or white people bagels.
They're Jew bagels.
Uh-oh. Look who it is in a remote location being held by the Tifa. It's Harry.
Oh
Man,
my God.
Are you
you
tired,
okay?
Harry?
what a drive!
Yeah.
I left Tacoma at 9:30 in the morning. I got into
You paused. Your connection's not strong.
You got into where?
Danville.
You went all the way to Danville in one shot?
Yeah, 14 hours.
Dude.
Did you do all the driving?
Of course,
Do you have the dog with you?
Rosie.
Oh, puppy.
Are you in someone's home or a hotel?
Yeah. I'm in my sister-in-law's house right now.
Okay. So how long are you there for? Just 2 days?
Yeah, I think we're heading out tomorrow to go down to Los Angeles.
Nice.
Very nice.
So today I'm going to hit Amoeba in Berkeley and Rasputin's in Berkeley.
Yeah, I've been to both of those before, but that was way before I collected vinyl.
Yeah.
I probably bought DVDs there or something.
So what's new?
Hey, Jack's asking you.
I can't see any of the comments.
So Jack is saying you want to meet up in the East Bay. Jack, you're not far from Berkeley, right? Why don't you meet him at Berkeley?
Yeah, because my wife wants to try to get another Cal Bear T-shirt.
What
So
about
we figured.
Econo Jam? Or Econo Jam in Berkeley or Down Home Music? You got to go to Down Home Music in San Pasquale or whatever it is, right there below Berkeley.
Oh, okay. Send me a link on that if you can. An
Down
email.
Home. That's Chris Straywitz's store.
Matt,
Hello?
yes, everyone knows Chris Straywitz.
I don't know. Not sure
Hulu
what time
Records?
I'll be there, but
Or Huli?
if Jack's around, yeah.
Hold on. Here's
Home
Stephen
Music.
Schnees chiming in.
It's in El Cerrito. El Cerrito.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to drive into San Francisco.
you would have to cross the bridge and deal with parking and all the nonsense that San Francisco gives you.
And besides, I tend to find better stuff in Berkeley, and I think the Berkeley stores are a little less expensive.
And how do you do it, Rasputin? How do you do it, Rasputin?
It's hit and miss. You never know what you'll find there. It's not my favorite store.
Jack, reach out to Harry on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
You're driving down the 5?
Yeah. I don't see any. It's weird. I don't see any comments. I'm using my phone. I've never done this on my phone before.
Okay. Well, Easy Now says stick it, Harry. Now,
Thank
a
you.
lot of people are like telling you to jump off a bridge and stuff like that. A lot of people.
Yeah. The Golden Gate Bridge.
Hey, that ain't funny. People do that all the time.
I know, and they don't advertise it.
Yeah. My wife's grandfather had a place up in the Oakland Hills. That guy could see 3 bridges from his house. Remember that whole area burned back in the 80s? Anyway, I like it up there. I got a kid up in San Francisco, my youngest.
You probably have kids everywhere, Harry. I mean, not Harry. I mean, Jim.
No, mine are
Wow.
I have one in Palos Verdes. I got one down by you in Palos Verdes.
That's where I'll be staying when I'm in LA.
Yeah. It's a nice area.
Very steep hill.
That's the other area of LA with peacocks.
Wonderful.
I think Palos Verdes is one of the most exclusive zip codes in the country. One of the most expensive.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
It's where all the Lakers live. Anyone who works at in Inglewood at the I guess they work downtown now.
Hold on. Yeah, but Harry's not a Rick Ballard type of guy. They would be records for me.
Yeah.
It's all jazz stuff.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. You have to go to Down Home. You have to. It's in El Cerrito.
I have no idea where that is.
It's just like 5 minutes from Berkeley.
Okay. Well, send me this info on Instagram.
Okay. I don't know how to do that, but I'll.
You're on Instagram, right?
Of course.
Just send me a message.
I will do that, I guess.
Everyone message Harry on Instagram.
Yeah.
Arcadia has the most peacocks, probably.
I would normally be sleeping, but of course my dog, as soon as it gets daylight, she gets up. So that means I got to get up.
How can you put up with that stuff? You should take them to Ohio where they're eating the dogs.
Shh, don't listen, Rosie. Don't listen.
Okay, that's nonsense.
They're not eating the dogs, Rosie. Don't you worry.
I'm telling you, man. I see deliciousness. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So there was a little. You guys saw my picture of entering California, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get
Did
there?
you drive down, Harry?
No, I walked. Little inside joke there.
I'm sorry that I'm snippy, but come on, some comments just deserve.
No, you were out of line.
Yeah, I couldn't believe you went there.
I'm just saying that you're allowed to read your comment before you hit send. That's my attitude. Hey, I make stupid comments.
Yeah, that's for sure. I just made one.
Thank you.
True that.
Oh, wait. I'm putting this in Harry's pile, right?
Harry's Pile. That'd be a good porn name.
Ouch. Doesn't sound good. No. It's your dog, your first dog in the street you were born on.
Okay,
First
that would be Freckles, Maine.
Yeah. I'm Caesar Locksley, so there you go.
I have several dogs. I had 3 dogs, so mine would probably be Magoo Wimbledon.
Yeah, that works. I like Caesar Locksley. I think I could.
Locklear would be better.
Locksley. You know, from Robin Hood.
Yeah, the problem with you, Jim, is you lived on every street.
I've lived on a number of them.
I've lived on Easy Street.
Now you're talking. I've lived on Valhalla Records in Chicago.
Valhalla?
Valhalla.
Oh, okay.
She was a nice old lady. She's no longer.
That's what they all say.
Hey, if anyone gives a shit, and people regularly that watch the Ingrooves Thursday new release videos, he showed a Led Zeppelin Turquoise record that he said he's gonna, I think, put in one of his future Whatnot auctions.
Wow.
So I can't imagine how much that will go for. Yeah. Easy now, that wasn't funny.
You got to put these comments up on the screen so I can see them.
Is Valhalla closed? I know she passed
Hold
away.
on. Not Roger's comment. Yeah, and I don't even know if Harry would get that. So
no.
Mal Wolfdren.
Man, a lot of you people had lame pet names and lived on lame street names.
Currently, it would be
Brutus High.
Good. Calvin Allegheny. Calvin Allegheny.
Look, I don't think I'll ever look for it or find it by accident.
Yeah, Val's is still open. Good.
Where's Mazzy this morning?
I do not know. I don't keep track of him.
He may have been picked up.
It's not your day to watch him?
No.
He may have been picked up.
Oh, that's true.
If anyone would like to come up, let me know. I'll send a link, provided You're not a moron.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
All
I
right.
got.
I just sent a link out to a non-moron.
Uh-oh. Are we anti-moron around here?
Always. I don't think I'm anti-moron. Like
Then I
like
gotta
right
go.
here. This is Billiam. If you think Billiam doesn't, I don't watch any of Billiam's bullshit. His channel, because he's always crying about something. But this is Billiam right here. All right, Billiam. No one cares about your hurt feelings. Goodbye. Sorry, Billiam. You try, but I think you're allergic to being funny.
Okay. That ain't what I want.
Hold on right here. What am I? This comment right here? No, not that one. Sorry. Yeah. It's not hard to detect that it's him. All right, Jack, I'll send you a link. Let me figure out how to do that. So, have you bought any records yet on this trip, Harry?
No, I didn't have time to stop. We had two. I think we stopped twice for
Listen,
gas.
you're old. How many pee breaks did you make during your trip?
2. And
How
that was
many
for the
times-
dog.
Yeah, but how many times did you pee during your trip?
Well, I have a pee bottle.
I don't want to hear this. For some reason, I really don't want to hear this.
No, you don't.
Hello, Patrick. Hey, Patrick, happy birthday.
Save us, Patrick. Please save us.
Hey, Jack, I sent your link to your Instagram. Well, let me see if you come up in my email.
I can't hear Patrick.
What, am I not on? Am I here?
If you want it on email, Jack, you have to email me. I sent it on your Instagram.
Okay,
I think Patrick's muted.
No,
Yeah.
can barely hear you, Patrick.
Okay.
Yeah. Plug in your mic.
My mic is plugged in.
Now you're muffled.
I remember
Nice.
the first time I got on the live stream.
Listen, if this is the way you rip records, I don't know about your.
All right, now I'm automatically adjusting my volume. Is that working?
I kind of look like, who do I look like at this angle? I look like Vinyl Richie.
Julia Child. You look like Julia Child.
Vinyl Richie. Hey, I got to come in like this. I got to come in. Hey, everybody.
Comments.
Patrick figures out his mic.
Can you hear me or not? Is that possible?
It's still low.
And you know, he gave me a hard time because when I went on his stream one night, my mic wasn't working. See, this is karma.
Oh wait, hang on.
What's not to give you a hard time about, Harry?
All right, how's this?
True.
Is this better?
Not
Still
great.
low. You're
Not
still
great.
low.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yes.
There's a little thing, Patrick. It says MIC. If you click on that,
You know, well, you weren't even audible.
go to your settings.
That was the problem. All right.
Should have seen me trying to
Properties, levels.
trying to tell my 100-year-old father how to hook up his.
Okay. Let's
keyboard.
hope that. Here's Jack. Is your mic working good?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound fine.
All right.
Way better than PB Thal.
I don't hear Jack at all.
You don't hear me at all, Harry?
No.
I think I just texted you to call me when you got off the phone.
I hear Rob and I can hear Jim just fine, but I don't hear the other two guys at all.
You know what it is? It's hard to make those metal, like those big phones with the big numbers.
Right.
Yeah. You should have seen me trying to log in this morning. I've never logged in on my phone. I had to jump through all kinds of hoops and
it's only going to get worse, guys. It's only
verification codes.
Jack, you're coming in fine. I think it's just Harry. Harry's phone can only manage 2 people coming through.
Well, I would
That's
love
weird.
to I would love to meet up with Harry at either Down Home or
I
Dave's.
can't hear Jack at all.
Okay, he
You
wants
know
to
what?
meet up
Hey,
with you
hold
at
on.
Down Home.
Here's the deal. Harry, do I have your permission to send your cell phone number to Jack?
I think I
Yeah,
have.
and then he can just text me later.
Yeah, just text him, Jack, and you can meet up. And
Didn't I think I just
If we
texted
can,
you 10
because my
minutes
wife's
ago,
going to be
Harry.
with me, and it's
Hey.
going to, I'll depend on what she wants to do.
Jack, I apologize for Harry interrupting you. In normal cases, he'd do it anyway. But I'll send you Harry's cell phone number, Jack. Okay.
Okay, but
Wow,
I
that's
think
so
I have
weird.
it
I
from when
can't
we
hear
made
Jack
a
at
video
all.
together. We made a video together a while back. Doug Som.
Yeah, but he's not in front of his control center. He left that at home.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
Rich, that's an idea.
hey, Jack, you've been posting a lot of classical stuff. Where have you been finding that?
Well, Down Home and Dave's. There's 3 record stores that are close to me, and then the Berkeley ones, the Rasputins and Amoeba, the parking is just horrendous up there.
Yeah, well, I can hear you now. They shut down People's Park, didn't they? And they started building on it, or
They're building some dorms or something, but it's a 3-year construction project.
Right.
And I personally, I find the Amoeba store in Berkeley, the aisles are so damn narrow that I can barely walk down them. But Down Home, the aisles are narrow too, but it's a cooler store.
Well, there's a big parking garage like a block away from Amoeba, I think, on the other side of the street.
Yeah, there's a parking garage in Berkeley that you can use, and you pay for parking. I don't think I've been up to Amoeba for over a year. And Rasputin's, you got to go downstairs to get to the records. And I'm an old guy, and I just fuck it, There's on Alcatraz, there's a record store called Hercules that I like a lot, but the parking's shit. I hardly ever go there. Dave's parking's no problem. Down Home's got a parking lot. Parking's no problem. And they're actually closer to me. Dave's is at San Pablo Avenue and Camellia Street, which is 1 block or 2 blocks away from Gilman. And Down Home is on San Pablo Avenue in El Cerrito. And it's about 3 miles from Dave's on the same street.
Right.
And those are Dave's is the farthest away from my house, and it's about 10 miles from my house. As far
I don't even go to concerts anymore unless I know I can park somewhere.
Yeah. But I would love now. Dave's opens at 11 or 12 or whenever he feels like it. But Down Home doesn't open till 1. They're 1 to 6.
Wow.
And I think judging from what I've seen you like, I think you could spend a lot of time looking at what Down Home has. They have a huge, I think it used to be a $2 section that was $1.50 if you bought 10. I think it went up to $2 section. That's
out of my price range. Yeah.
And then they've got lots and lots of used, a few new. And then out, you said you're in Danville?
Yeah.
There's a store called Up the Creek that's in Walnut Creek.
Oh, that's not far from here.
It's probably the closest one to Danville.
I think I've been to that store.
And well, it's new. You probably, because it moved. It used to be in another part of Walnut Creek, but it's downtown now, and they got a lot of new stuff. But it's different new stuff than other stores seem to carry. And there's the Rasputin's out there is probably a better Rasputin's than the one in Berkeley.
And that's like in a shopping mall, isn't it?
I think so. That one, I haven't been to the one out in Pleasant Hill, but I looked it up on the internet the other day, and because a friend of mine goes to that one once in a while. But he goes to buy CDs, and I hadn't been out there in ages.
That guy's been closing stuff down.
Who, Rasputin?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hello, Patrick.
He's in the real estate business. He owns all that property.
Well,
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you sound
Yes.
the best you've
There
sounded.
we go. See, Harry?
Now I can
walked
hear
away,
you.
Took a second, you know.
Hey, I understand how it is when you get elderly.
Hopefully I missed all the.
You
Trick
guys are all
107
youngsters.
talk.
I get tired of all these guys talking about how old they are all the time.
Well, nobody's well, man. Well, there's a.
I'm
Richard
5
Riley's
years
older-
older than
what?
Mazzy.
Jack, you
Richard
win.
Riley is older than you.
Yeah, Richard Riley's older than me.
I'll get
And
my
Bobby
father here.
Gass is a month older than I am.
Yeah,
Well,
but he's deteriorated his body to where he's 10 years older than you from all the
Actually,
stuff he's
isn't
done.
Bobby Gass's body held together
by duct tape?
by
Nicotine.
weed?
Reverend.
Weed and nicotine.
Yeah. Hold on, what? Richard?
Weed and tar.
Hold on, Richard's 83? Really?
Wow.
No way.
Very youthful, Richard.
Yes.
Richard lives close to me, but we've never. He goes to a store that I don't go to very often.
Yeah, but he lives in the fancy part of around your city.
He only lives like 10, 15 minutes from me.
Is there a fancy part of Sacramento?
Well, there's
No,
Roseville,
he lives in Rockland.
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 Roseville, Rockland, they both butt against each other. So
I tested so many movies in Roseville, it's not even funny.
You don't do that anymore? You don't test movies anymore?
I consult a little here and there, but I mostly just teach and yell at people on the internet. And I would like to just yell at people on the internet.
yelling at people on the internet's a lot of
If you
fun.
could get paid to do that.
Shut up, Harry.
Is Harry in Los Angeles now?
No.
He's closer to you than me.
Where are you
It's in
at?
Danville.
Danville. I'm outside of San Francisco. Oh, actually, I'm outside of Berkeley.
Did you stop and tell me we could meet at a parking lot somewhere like the old days?
Yeah.
My
Problem
wife's
is, I turn off. See, when I go down I-5, I turn off on, I think it's 505 before I ever get to you.
Stop by Harris
What?
Ranch and have a steak.
my wife's grandfather was from Olima. You know
Oh,
Olima?
that's a nice little town.
Very nice.
The hippies
Very-
hippies from Olima.
He
That's
he he bought a place there in the 40s.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous. You had a creek in the backyard.
All right.
It was-
You have my address, Paul. Send it to me.
I thought you were in Rockland, Richard, but I guess you would know where you live. So he is in Roseville. The record store he goes to is in Rockland. Then.
Which one is that?
Audio Nerd.
You like Audio Nerd?
No, it's pretty over. It's kind of like the LA of record store. Well, it's not as bad as a cave, but he's fairly overpriced to me, in my opinion. He does have a good like dollar bin store.
I don't send him my papers anymore because he stacks shit on top of them.
Well,
I
that's
went-
kind of
No
defeats the
respect.
purpose.
Well, you know, why he had like old papers with like stuff on it. Whatever.
Yeah, his prices are. I haven't been there in a while, but his prices were pretty eye-opening for me. I would be like going, "Oh, yeah, I don't think."
I'd like to point one person out in the chat. This Eric Schultz doesn't get to watch the stream live, I guess. So he rewatches it and leaves comments. All you people should follow his lead and leave comments on the videos.
Right. There's money in them, their comments.
Yeah,
right?
that's how I make the dough. I don't listen, I'm not putting ads on the live stream, so
Make comments on the
yeah, so that you can watch an
Yeah,
ad.
so that $5 of Google money isn't gonna get in Rob's pocket on its
Hey,
own.
listen. I'll let you know that from doing 2 streams a week, the take home at the end of the month is enough to buy a few records. So what's wrong with that?
Hey, Patrick, can I ask you a question? How's that record flattener working for you?
I just flattened a Stevie Ray Vaughan record last night.
Okay.
And I just did a Steam record too. So this thing, so we're here.
Did you say Steam? Nana Hey Hey?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, this one.
One hit
No,
wonder.
This one came out. They weren't even a band. This one came out perfect. They're like literally flattened perfectly.
I'd
Now,
say
the only thing it doesn't fix completely are edge warps. You know, so
Edge warps, yeah, lip warps, yeah.
You know what? I did a record for someone the other day, Patrick, and it didn't get rid of the lip warp, but what it did is it made it there was no whoosh to it.
Yeah.
Like it kept it tracked fine.
Yeah, I could get it to where it's playable, but yeah.
I sometimes will be so high that I don't actually put the record on the turntable correctly. And then what I do is I straighten it out, and that fixes it.
Fluffy, you're so elusive. I'll flatten a record for you, but no one knows where you are or even if you still exist.
If this really is Fluffy, you haven't been seen. You need to show up at Pasadena.
All I'm saying is if someone it's not my record flattener, it's Jim's. But if you would like a record flattened, there's a fee and it all goes to Jim.
Oh, really?
Hey, listen, Jim, you've said this to me. Jim said this to me. Crotchless underpants don't pay for themselves.
I don't want to think about that.
And the good thing is, if you wear them backwards, never mind, we won't go there.
I wear them on my head.
Okay,
so, Harry, you spent an extra long time at that last truck stop. Is that what you're saying, Harry? You spent an extra long time in the truck
Patrick, someone. So Robert's saying that the cave outrageous prices.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the cave is the worst. I mean, the cave is absolutely.
You took us to the cave.
Yes.
And Patrick goes. Patrick pulled like 10 records, and he goes, "Wow, this is unusual for them pricing." And I found a record there for like $10 that I sold for 50.
Yeah, there's. I mean, like any place, you can find a deal, but you have to. For one thing, it's not organized well at all. They mix the new and the old. The metal stuff is like all isn't even alphabetized. So it takes a. And I even talked to the guy. I said, "Hey, why don't you have a new arrival section? I want people to have to dig through everything." I'm going, "Well, it just makes people like me not dig at all."
So you're saying he has a lot of hard to find albums?
That used to be Dimples.
Yeah, it used to be, but now, well, they're back now. They have 3 stores.
Yeah,
they had 1, then they had 2. Now they got 3. So they're getting back to that Dimples thing. But Dimples, you can find a deal. But there, it's like, yeah.
I find it interesting that there are small independent chains up in Northern California, Rasputin's, the Cave. There's none in Southern California. Amoeba came from Northern California.
Which Rasputin's closed? Y'all talked about a Rasputin's closing. Which one's closing?
No, some of them have closed. Well, San Francisco, obviously, but some in.
They had some podunk ones that weren't.
It's the one. There was a Rasputin in Fresno. Is that still open?
No, I think
there was one in Vallejo too. I think Vallejo had one.
Closed.
The one in Berkeley is the one to go to.
Yeah, well, yeah, you got to dig though. You really got to dig there. But there's good stuff if you do.
Well, they have a new arrival sections at least. They have, and but yeah, it's hard to dig in there.
Rasputin has closed like a lot. They had one in Stockton, San Francisco, San Lorenzo, Modesto, Mountain View, Concord, all closed.
Well, vinyl's going away, I hear.
Over. It's done.
CDs are the big thing now.
CDs.
Mad Monk's a good store. It says Fresno still open, just renamed Mad Monk. I went to Mad Monk.
Who owns Mad Monk?
I guess
it's independent.
Isn't it the same person?
Yeah. I met Disco Devil at Mad Monk.
Oh yeah, that is him. That's the same guy.
So why would he change Rasputin to a different name?
There's got to be a reason.
Maybe he doesn't own that one anymore, or he doesn't.
Hold on. Hey, look who's here. How are you doing? How's your health? Let me know in the comment. I hope you're doing okay.
Oh yeah, I remember Licorice Pizza. When it opened up on Topanga, the week it opened, they were giving away pizza, not just licorice. But I remember
Okay,
when
so Mad Monk is a vintage store that they have Rasputin inside the Mad Monk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mad Monk is no longer a Rasputin's.
So it's spun off.
Oh, hold on. They had Mad Monk in Berkeley. They tried that for a while where it was across the street from Rasputin's, and then they put it back. So they used to have a Mad Monk in Berkeley on Telegraph.
Where was the Licorice Pizza Jeff Myers bought his record at?
I don't know. Jeff Myers is as old as I am. He's waxing nostalgic.
Wax on, wax off.
I really miss Rather Ripped Records. That was my favorite store.
Never heard of that one.
Store, back in DC, the first record store I ever went to was in my neighborhood called Fat Daddy's. And I remember them distinctly because they had a head shop in the back.
I went to Wallach's Music City. Look it up, folks.
But
I've heard of that.
The big chains that were in DC, which no longer exist, was Camp Mill Records, Penguin Feather. Yeah, Camp Mill and Penguin Feather.
I can't understand why a store like Penguin Feather would go out of business.
It was a big chain, dude. It was the thing.
Penguin
I don't know
Feather.
where it came from.
Okay.
Sorry to hear
What
that.
happens when you get people who are high to do your marketing?
All right, so Stephen Schnee chimed in with nonsense.
That's usual.
Yeah, thank you for that information that everyone knows.
Isn't that what I said? I said that they split off the vinyl to Mad Monk across the street. Isn't
Yes.
that what I literally said verbatim?
Yeah, he said that, Stephen. Listen, Stephen Schnee, when you don't do Ski Lodge the week, you're off your game.
Great record, hard to find.
Oh, that's bootleg. That's an original there. The black and white is a bootleg.
This is an original. Carole King. That's Carole King over there.
Huh.
I have the black and white cover.
I sent Patrick 2 records that.
So what did you send me, and why did you send them?
You don't. I don't know how many people you communicate with that you forget or text chain things.
Quite a few, apparently.
A Private Press metal record.
Okay, that one I remember.
And then the other was the guitar player and the drummer record. Was a white label promo that you streamed, and you go, "Wow, this sounds good."
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. So, am I supposed to rip them?
You're supposed to rip them, and if you decide, which I think you could probably put them in your auction and make a killer money, then you will expose me to some of your weirdo music.
I'm not going to expose anything to you, Rob. So let's get that started right there. I'm not exposing anything.
Well, that's where those crotchless panties come in.
Yeah, that's why I'm leery about meeting Harry in a private place. I need to meet Harry in a public place. I
picked up this record. Okay, here's something good to talk about.
It's called Megan, Dana. It's called Megan. Had a girl with hair extensions. I got this in LA. This cleaned up. You know, I got some good deals at Atomic, because I got this for like $8, and this is a pink label Capricorn. It's like got some nice spaces, humble pie. So yeah, I got some good deals there.
Here's a record I would like to talk about, and people know this record, right? Santo and Johnny, which is an excellent record, I think.
Sleepwalk.
Well, it has Sleepwalk on it, but I mean, they do cover versions, and they Caravan, which is like a jazz standard on here. So here's the interesting thing about this one. So this is a later pressing, and I can't, nowhere on Discogs do they really, this pressing doesn't have a date to it. So I don't know when Canadian American Records went to this color label, but this is a Monarch pressing, and it's so kind of scuffed up in the dead wax. But on Discogs, it says RL on one side. And this thing sounds amazing. The Monarch.
Yeah, but it's Santos and Johnny.
It's fucking two guys, one playing the slide and the other playing the guitar. There's no singing. It's good.
I know, but it's like a $3 record.
No, well, so what I'm saying is, go
Harry,
find this
you were at a
Monarch
record store back in the 30s.
Go find this Monarch pressing with the RL and the dead wax. Now, I don't know when Robert Ludwig started mastering records. I don't know when this label was introduced. I think if it's an RL from the early 60s, it's not Robert Ludwig. But
well, you can.
the
Well, I mean, does it look like his etching? I mean, his has a pretty.
No.
Pretty...
Well, the problem with this it's on the Discogs listing. This is so scuffy in the dead wax.
Can't tell.
I mean, I'm trying, and
it could have been Richard Lewis before he went into comedy.
Yeah, I think Richard.
Yeah,
Lewis
yeah.
might be...
You know what? Your jokes, when you're on the road, you're not as funny, Harry.
And that's saying a lot. I thought we couldn't get any worse at humor, but apparently I was wrong.
I technically can't see an RL, but the Monarch pressing of this, I've had one other copy of this, and even this is not a clean record, but it sounds pretty amazing.
Is it mono?
No, this is stereo.
Okay.
So
Robert Ludwig has retired. He's not still around.
Earliest, if this was a late 60s pressing, then I'm leaning to say he might have done it. I know he worked at one place before Sterling, Allied Sounds or something. So I'm just curious if people know more about.
Maybe we can get Chad to reissue that as a 180 gram.
I mean, that's an interesting thing. Why hasn't this been reissued? Because
nobody wants it.
I knew
no, you don't want it.
Wrong.
Right now,
I knew it.
He loves. So I'm just saying. I think it deserves. I think the sound, at least on this, it would be cool.
That record is El Santo. El Santo is a famous wrestler in Mexico. Probably the only second famous, only to the Blue Demon and Mil Mascaras.
Mil Mascaras. I used to love him.
Mil Mascaras.
Yeah, but he made didn't he make movies too?
Oh, yeah, El Santo made movies too, and so did the Blue Demon. They all made movies.
My 400-year-old grandparents didn't speak English, but they loved wrestling back in the 60s. They didn't even know what was going on. They thought it was real.
I got this at Atomic Music for like $3. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. Nice, beautiful green label.
Again, though,
maybe the brothers were fighting that day.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when he Price is angry, we all benefit.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's true. Very true.
That place is somewhat claustrophobic, though.
Dude, they've cleaned up their act for a long period of time. Boxes in the aisles, you couldn't even move around.
I couldn't even reach the back of the bins, and I used to threaten to sue them.
I think we need to do a welfare check on Massey.
But I actually saw El Santo wrestle, and I saw Mil Mascaras wrestle.
Really, in real life, not on TV.
No,
yeah, but how many different people
at a wrestling match?
How many different people played? Yeah. How many different people played them since they were wearing masks?
Mil Mascaras was only one person. I think El Santo too, because he had a brother, and then they both had brothers. Like Mil Mascaras had a brother named Dos Caras, who was really kind of crappy, kind of like Mazzy, even if Mazzy had a poor man's Mazzy, you know. So
remember the Mummy?
Yeah, the Mummy, yeah. And then there was all sorts of like they had gimmicks, you know, that they would come on.
The Mummy would take a chair and smash it on his head and go, "I feel no pain."
Yeah, all of them did that. Here's what was very bizarre to me, and I think it mainly I'm not a big wrestling follower guy, but I think it mainly came from like the Southern wrestling people. Was like taking a razor blade and slashing your forehead.
Yeah.
That was always weird.
No, what's known as getting color, apparently.
It was Dusty Rhodes was the biggest one who did that, right?
Well, you could look at his forehead, man. It just
it was all scarred up.
Yeah, it's like a ripple. It's like just rippled all over the place. Like he worked on his abs and on his forehead. You know? Like he had like an 8-pack on his forehead.
That was always weird to me.
Where's Chance? Chance needs to get in on this conversation.
Yeah, wrestling, St. Louis. My grandma used to say, "Hit him in the zoobies," which apparently zoobies means teeth.
I thought you were going to say your grandma used to wrestle.
So my favorite was George the Animal Steel, and when he
used the turnbuckle.
But my favorite is to go on the internet and see interviews with him, and he goes very eloquently, going, Yes, back in those days, I was.
How about
As opposed to,
Bobo Brazil? Remember Bobo Brazil?
he had a lame finishing maneuver, the Cocoa Butt, whatever the fuck he was calling.
Anybody
whatever the
remember
hell that
Vern
shit
Gagne?
was. Yeah, AWA wrestling was like a feeder for all the really good wrestlers came out of the AWA because it was the Gagnes, and the Gagnes would never let themselves lose. Even like little Greg Gagne was like had to make sure he won.
What about
Vern Gagne was like the champion. He was like 50.
Was that the Texas wrestling?
No,
league?
that was like the
Burgess
Minnesota
George.
area. That was the northern area.
Because
Texas
so-
had Southwest
He sold
Championship
vitamins in Omaha.
Back when I was a teen, like young, and wrestling was on, the only way I knew about the other areas were that magazine. So I went to the newsstand and would read that wrestling magazine, and I didn't know any of these wrestlers because they were
Inside Wrestling, what Wrestling Insider.
Yeah,
Whatever
it was, and it was like the Von Erich. I only knew of the Von Erichs from that magazine. I'd never seen.
I've seen the Von Erichs wrestle several times.
But they were that Texas one, right?
Yeah, Terry, Kevin, Chris, David. Am I missing one? Lance.
You
Oliver's
guys,
dead, but Kevin.
Were you a big wrestling fan, Harry?
you guys are like one step away from being MAGA.
You're
It's better than being one step away from being woke. So I'd rather ride that middle. So there you go. I'd rather be right in the middle.
Yeah. Thank you, Manford. And when was Monarch? When did Monarch start pressing records? Was it the early '60s? I don't
know because I've got some old Mercury that have MR in the dead wax.
They didn't do MR on it's if it has the triangle.
That's the Delta, yeah.
So before they started MRing, my earliest MRing that I have might be a late '60s.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan was horrible. He had no finishing move either, so he was not good.
They did Monarchs on the Beatles introducing in '63.
Well, I was gonna say some VJ records I have.
This is a Harry record right here. Here you go, Harry. Flight of the Ventures.
Oh no, I am not a Ventures fan. I'm sorry.
You're old, yeah.
Well, if you don't like Santo and Johnny, I wouldn't imagine you'd like the Ventures.
Yeah, he had a 2x4.
I was never big into
Anybody could
instrumental.
wield a 2x4 and knock somebody out, but he like going, "How you doing, tough guy?" You know, he do that bullshit. So.
Listen, Jim.
Bruiser Brody would have kicked his ass all over the place.
Jim, you lived everywhere. You can literally claim any area in LA.
I did.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
I had to move around a lot.
How many times have you been evicted, Jim? Just out of curiosity.
I always ran before I got evicted.
It's like your lease runs out and you're like, I gotta leave, you know.
That's the way we were when I was a kid. The rent would come due and my mom would move.
Yeah, oh man, that's old school. Pompero Firpo, that guy's like ancient. That guy had he didn't he come off the rope, wasn't it? Or no, that was somebody else.
Hey Tim.
Tim, it was a good person would put the link to the video. You need to get better at YouTube. But also
Andre was the best because he was 7'5" and like 500 pounds. I mean, he's just did he ever wrestle Haystacks Calhoun? That would be a good way to go.
Hey Rob. Rob, I can still hear Patrick.
Good. I can still Harry and I'm still here, so yeah.
Hey everyone, just to warn you, Mazzy has his porno friends up from LA and
You're doing a shoot?
Yes.
I thought Mazzy found a stream that had more people on it. That's why he's not here.
There used to be a porno magazine called Over 50. I think they're doing a video version of it up at Mazzy's house.
Do you still subscribe to it, Jim?
Do you still distribute it, Jim?
I used to be in the 900 number business.
Yeah, you told me that. That was pretty funny.
I had advertising.
Did like the mayor come over and have a meltdown in your office or something?
Huh?
Didn't the mayor used to come over and like waste time before he went and did something?
The mayor of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Hey,
Rodney Bingenheimer?
He had a side piece over that you like.
Rodney's a fan of the paper.
Well, isn't he the mayor?
He was the mayor of Hollywood.
Jim,
is he still alive?
Yeah, Rodney's still around.
What was his claim to fame other than just leeching on to famous people.
He was a DJ on K-Rock.
DJ on the strip.
Yeah.
With him and what's his name, Kim Fowley, right?
He was the first guy to put Bowie on the radio.
I have a record. I do have a record that's autographed to Rodney. It must have been his copy.
He's a very nice guy to that.
Rapping Rodney,
especially
I
if
think
you're under
there's
16 years old.
Isn't there a documentary on him?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, but
Mayor of the Sunset Strip.
yeah.
That's
Him
right.
and Kim Fowley were like buddies, right?
Kim Fowley, who's apparently a very not woke guy.
yeah,
He got me
You
too.
sexual deviant.
Yeah.
Speaking of porn,
Yeah.
Boy, are my legs tired, Robert.
I don't get that joke, but okay.
But I made good time.
Oh, you got to stop at
Did you bring Rosie with you?
Yeah,
Anderson's split pea soup in Nellis.
they're
Where is it?
all closed down.
Oh, there's one left.
All right, so Robin, this is what Robin and Jim do. They argue about places to eat and
Yeah.
restaurants. This is their thing. Hey, Rosie.
So
I
where
usually
did
don't
you
like
stop,
dogs like
Harry?
that, but that's a cute dog.
How far south are you, Harry?
we're in Danville, just outside of I don't know, Berkeley, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Anderson's is still open in Santanella. Just saying. It's my favorite.
I don't
place.
know. Listen, there's no reason to go out of your way for pea soup. I'm just telling you this.
It's the best thing to have in your
Yeah,
house.
yeah, saying that some place has the best
Is
pea soup.
it street pea soup though? Is it street pea soup?
Street pea
That's what we
soup?
wanna
No.
know. Yeah. Okay.
But it's
Okay.
not canned.
It's not like if you had to name the 5 standards of a diner, family, restaurant place, pea soup isn't one of them.
If you're gonna take Harry to someplace, go get him that Mexican food that we had on the sidewalk. That stuff was excellent, man.
That was
stuff
good.
Really,
Yeah.
really good.
You want to eat some Mexican?
Yeah, I might leave Harry on the sidewalk, so that might be perfect.
Are you talking about that Germantown that has that restaurant right near the?
It's not a
island?
restaurant. They're just they're on the sidewalk.
Well, yeah, it's
They're literally on the sidewalk.
Is it a truck?
no, but you're talking about
No,
Anderson's
it's not a
split
truck.
pea.
It's
Yeah,
just a
exactly.
it's a sidewalk. They're on
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
There used to be like 5 or 10 of them going up and
Where do
down.
the people sleep?
Right.
I'm going to tell you right now, Jim and I went to one of the best places when we went out to visit the Flowering Spikes record store is Brent's Deli. That place is awesome.
This is good.
Awesome.
Well,
No.
Jewish guys in delis, that's your thing. You know?
This place is one of the best places to go to in LA.
It's a good deli. The one in Northridge is better than the one in Westlake.
Do,
in
do
my
they serve their
opinion.
pastrami hot or cold? That's what I want to know.
Either way?
Either way, you get the matzo ball soup and their potato pancakes. And I had their freshly made brisket.
Mm.
Good Jewish brisket sandwich.
I was
Beef?
disappointed. I was disappointed with the chopped liver.
Do they have a big pickle barrel?
And that's the other thing. They didn't put a pickle plate out. Or did they?
No,
Gotta
they
have pickles.
what they do is they put a plate of twice baked rye on the table with butter. That their twice baked rye.
Oh, yeah.
is-
Their twice baked rye is excellent.
Yeah.
Brent's is the best. It's good.
It is.
I like,
Wow, you guys agree on something? That's unheard of.
yeah.
We agree on lots of things.
Not food
you know
wise,
what?
that I heard.
You know what Jim is? He's a food regretter. You go somewhere to eat.
You're the
Has
one.
that
that-
gone here?
I don't know if
gone
we should
here.
eat in there.
No, this is Rob. After we ate, after we've eaten, he goes, "Oh, we could have eaten there. Could have eaten there. Could have
I
eaten
do
there."
that as a joke.
No,
but you
that is-
literally
that is-
are a food regretter. That's what you are.
Food regretter.
Or a regurgitator?
I wish I had eaten that.
Regurgitator.
Why the fuck did
Apparently,
I
Karen
eat that?
Carpenter was a regurgitator.
No, I'm not. I don't eat in
Is
this.
that how you stay so slim, Jim?
No,
Slim Jim?
no. I'm
Speaking
not
of
a
wrestling,
regret.
step into a Slim Jim. There you go.
I refuse to puke. But no,
That sounds like a Zappa song.
I refuse to puke.
No, you need to give in to the puke so you can drink more.
Dr. Robert, do you have any good
Don't do it.
puke stories?
No.
Food stories?
Oh,
Is that what you asked? Food stories?
Gary.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Any food-related emergency room stories?
Well, I took care of
Things
a
were
guy.
going so well.
I took care of a guy once that had schizophrenia, and he tried to commit suicide by swallowing 3 razor blades, and he got them all down. He got them all down, and then
I bet that pissed the other guy off.
You got exactly what you asked for with that question.
we were able to fish 2 of them out with a scope, but then the one we couldn't, and so we just kept him on the ward, and we got an X-ray every day and watched it pass through his colon, and he shot it out without problem.
Can we put Harry in the penalty box for 10 minutes for that?
Hey, I have a question for everyone at large. How many people have that album, Shitting Razor Blades? Isn't that a famous record?
Who amongst us has not shit a razor blade? Raise your hand.
Yeah. So, oh man, I played that Led Zeppelin album last week. The 4 sides, the box, that I showed last week.
What, the
It
classic?
is so
The Mothership?
Yeah, the Mothership. It is, man. For one thing, the quality was just amazing. But the second thing is, it just made me realize how much I like them as a band. It just was, and I watched that movie too. I think I told you guys on a text.
You just realized how much you like Led Zeppelin?
Well, it just reaffirmed it. I mean, I hadn't listened to their stuff for a while, and it just was.
When you grow up with them, it's you don't think
guys
about
have been
them
out
as
the
being.
weeds getting your jazz, your free jazz, and your shit like that. Did you forget that bands like Led Zeppelin exist to this day that you can still listen to? If I go over to Jim's house, I'm not going to hear Led Zeppelin. I'm going to hear some freaking weird shit that nobody else has ever heard because he thinks it sounds cool. So
there's a bit of that.
Yeah,
a bit of that. But I play I love Led Zeppelin. My Led Zeppelin 2 Hot Stamper. Holy shit, does that thing rattle my bones.
If you read the reviews on the Mothership, a lot of people were not happy with the sound quality of that.
Really? Well, I think there's several
on Discogs.
This was like it was either the 2007 or the 2015 repress. And I know it was remastered, and
Mary Wells wasn't on Led Zeppelin 4. It was the chick from
Mary Clayton.
What's that folk band? No. The folk,
I agree with
singer. The folk singer that died. The one that in Fairport Convention. What's her name? Sandy Denny.
Sandy Denny. Patrick, quit interrupting.
Yeah, Sandy Denny.
I'm waiting for Rob to yell at me.
Sandy Denny was the only non-member of Led Zeppelin to appear on a record, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what about John Paul Jones? Is he considered a member?
Yeah.
He's considered the most underrated everything.
Why wouldn't he be considered a member?
Well,
he's making
when they went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he thanked them for remembering his phone number.
Yeah. Well, they never, ever got together when they weren't playing. He didn't even stay at the same hotel. He would show up for sound check. He's married to the same woman his whole life, and he didn't fuck around. He would go to art galleries during the day.
Because nobody could recognize him.
He played with heart.
I thought he was that band, I'm sorry, but the best rock and roll band of all time, hard rock, whatever you want to call it. Best singer, best guitar player, best drummer, best bass player, 4-piece, boom.
He was a great arranger too. Great arrangement, could play keyboards.
Yeah.
They were all really good. That movie, if you haven't seen it, Becoming Led Zeppelin, it's worth the watch.
That was excellent.
Well, I'll tell you why that Becoming Led Zeppelin's a good movie. Because they do the narration in their own voices. They use the members to tell the story. When they do that in documentaries, it's usually
the best part of that is watching their reaction when they hear that Bonham interview that they've never heard, and he's talking about them. That's the best part of the whole movie. Is
Look
the
on their
facial
face.
expressions. Like Robert Plant and Jimmy Page are both like almost pretty much in tears when they're hearing him. They've never heard this interview before, hearing him talk about them. And so, and if you could see it in IMAX, that was amazing. Sit right in the middle at an IMAX theater and listen to that. It was ungodly. People were literally standing up and clapping.
Oh wow.
It was weird.
Very cool.
But
Yeah,
it
that
was
would
good.
be even better. I watched it just on my TV, and I still just loved it. I thought it was great.
I fucked up. I never saw them live. I went
Yeah, I didn't either.
to the forum. My friends all had tickets. I had hundreds of dollars on me, and I couldn't scalp a ticket.
Dang.
Yeah, nobody was selling, and I sat outside of the forum all night. And they made a bootleg out of that show.
Didn't Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, when they got back together, didn't they tour? Or am I wrong about that?
I think they did do some shows together.
Yeah,
But Robert Plant is now just doing his whatever. I love Jimmy Page in that It Might Get Loud. Remember that thing with him and Edge and
Jack White?
That was great.
Yeah, I saw that on a plane once. That's a great movie too.
So when they were filming that, It Might Get Loud, they were doing it at a place in Culver City in Sony Studios. And at that time, the cover of Record Collector News had Jeff Beck on it. And Jimmy Page went into Freak Beat Records and he picked up the cover of my paper with Jeff Beck on it, and he turned to the clerk and he said something that was completely illegible. The clerk didn't understand a word he fucking said. His accent was so strong. The clerk, but when I came in the next day, he's like, he was so excited about your paper, Jim, but I just don't know what he said. I just nodded and smiled. So there's that. I got that going for me.
Great story.
Apparently, he goes to Seattle occasionally, or did pre-COVID with his girlfriend. She had some business there. There's a record store up there called Wall of Sound, a really small place that I like. It's the owners. It's co-owned by a pair of guys that are really cool. But at any rate, Jimmy Page has been in that store a number of times, apparently.
I heard he was looking for property up there.
Does he live in the U.S. or the UK?
Yes.
I hope you don't get lost on your way to L.A., Harry.
I-5 all the way south.
How long are you going to be down there, man?
I'll probably be back home maybe a week from today.
Will you be driving, Harry?
Tomorrow.
Harry, will
What's
you be
that?
driving?
Well, it depends. I might walk.
You've got the roadblocks set up on the 5 now, where if you don't have any marijuana on you, they give you some.
Well, you know, when I left Oregon and got into California, they do the produce stop.
Right.
And I had a bag of little miniature oranges or whatever the hell they are.
Get them out, baby.
When I pulled up to the window, there was a sign that said no inspection today. And there was nobody working. There was nobody there. We just drove through.
Nice.
So I'm pretty much a rebel.
So Harry's going to be the reason we have an infestation of produce.
We have no oranges anymore.
Ooh, the Bus family's going to sell the Lakers.
No,
Yeah.
Apparently, I thought it all has to be approved by all the other teams. But apparently they're selling it to the guy who owns the Dodgers.
And,
well, the good news is that's going to set a price. It's going to set a precedent for a price for a team. And that's going to allow the Sonics to get back into Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
considering that what formerly used to be the Sonics are about to win the title tonight. So, yeah.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, but the precedent has already been set. For teams as recently, I think, is the most recent team sold was the Cubs. I thought the Cubs were sold. But last year,
we're talking basketball.
2 years ago, the Commanders were sold for over $6 billion.
Now, what's this? I hear that the Portland Trailblazers may be sold because they were owned by Paul Allen.
Right. But they've been trying to sell them since he died, I thought.
Well, maybe they can bring them to Seattle.
Well, I thought
the thing was to Seattle. They'll go to Vegas before they go to Seattle.
The NBA wants
No, they're going to get 2 teams. They got to get 2 teams if they expand, and it'll be Vegas and Seattle, more than likely.
I thought Vegas got
if they move Portland, then I think it was in my thought that they have multiple cities with the potential Mexico City's won. Actually,
Oh my God!
What?
I haven't heard that one, but
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Yeah, your team just got hijacked by the cartel. That'd be great.
well, I'm
on
telling.
the way to
Hey,
on the way
listen.
to the freaking game.
Hey,
Yeah.
people! All the professional leagues play games in other countries.
Yeah,
So,
but it's a novelty.
well, they're not doing it to not
travels would
expand
be
the game.
the travel would be hard on the team. On the
Well, I
players.
mean, no. What's the difference between flying from New York to LA? To
Well,
Mexico
from flying from LA to Frankfurt, Germany is a lot different than flying from LA to New York.
I understand, but they're playing like 5 or 6 games outside the U.S. football for NFL.
oh, they have been. They played one down in Brazil, right?
But
And that's not even good football, though. If you watch those
They've
games,
been,
it's not even good
they've
games.
been playing NBA in Mexico City every year. They've been having games there.
Well, the Cowboys will play a preseason game. The Cowboys are huge in Mexico. I mean, they are the dominant team in Mexico by far. Actually, they're but yeah,
I'm
I
just
can't
wondering,
see a team in Mexico.
will the Cowboys not win a title again this year?
They haven't won a title. Like my dad's now passed away. He never got to see the Cowboys win another title. So
Wow.
I might die before the Cowboys win another
America's team. No, they're not America's team.
They are the most popular team. If you go overseas, everybody knows who the Cowboys are. I mean, no matter what you think of them, no matter what you think of them, they are the most well-known team by far.
That's because of the cheerleaders.
It doesn't matter.
I'm afraid that if they go abroad, they're going to meet some ICE agents and have some of their star players locked up in Guantanamo.
Well, as you well know, there are no Mexicans in the National Football League because they're not really big enough to play football. At least in my hometown, there weren't any. There's probably maybe a handful of people of Latino descent in the NFL, and it's not that's a racist. It's just a fact.
They're kickers from soccer.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some great football players where I lived in my hometown, which is 95% Latino, but they weren't big enough. Almost none of them got scholarships to play anywhere else. They were great when they played against people their own size, but yeah, I mean, they just weren't big enough, and they had talent,
Hey, I got to say goodbye, everybody. People are starting to stir around, so I got to go.
All right.
Safe travels.
See you soon.
People are starting to start. How many people are you traveling with?
He's staying at family's house.
Yeah.
Oh, he's being housed. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Later, everybody.
Later.
Happy birthday, Harry. Harry, I remember when I couldn't figure out how to leave a live stream. There you go, Harry.
Jesus, if I had it with that guy.
Yeah, thank God he's gone.
Oh, stop it.
Can you ban him?
Hey, he'll find a way to interrupt.
He should have been in timeout.
Yeah, he should have been.
The Laker girls.
I don't know.
I think the daughter is still going to run the show.
Jeannie Buss, yeah, she's gonna be the governor. They call it the governor.
The governor.
Oh, she could bag Phil Collins some more, or Phil Collins' protege, and get him to coach. So yeah.
If you want to come back, Jack, just click the link.
You come in for me. I gotta go. I got work to do. So
okay, thanks for joining us.
I have an auction Sunday, people, after Rob's auction on Saturday. So lots of LA stuff. Bye, people. Be nice to everybody.
Yeah. So, you want a record?
Hey, I'll try this, Dr. Robert. Hey, guys, I picked up some records. You want to see them?
Okay. So, I saw these guys live the other night with my buddy, Social Distortion. Really incredible show. The lead singer.
It's mainly the one guy.
Yeah, he's the only original member that's still there. But the band with him was also just really strong. But he is just excellent. He's an excellent songwriter and guitar player and singer. I love his voice. Dave, what is it? Not Huff, Dave Neff, I think. At any rate, he did not want to sign any signatures, man. I was there when he walked in and with the usual crew out on the street. And I'm actually now becoming friends with some of those folks, Wax. So I know you're probably happy about that. But he just put his head down and walked right into the theater, didn't even acknowledge us. But man, great show, worth seeing. And they're going to be touring for a while. And these
they
are
tour all the time.
Well, Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, he's still young. He's he's our age. He's 62, so something like
I'm
that.
I'm not your age, Dr. Robert.
Yeah, well,
not,
he's not Bob Dylan and Neil Young's age. Let's put it that way. So he's still vibrant. And they also had a great opening band that I hadn't heard of called Plague Vendor, who I guess is from Southern Cal also, and they've been around over 10 years now, 15 years maybe. Their lead singer was just all over the stage. He's like a young Iggy Pop or something. So recommended.
Who is going to see those bands? Is it Cotton Tops like us, or are there kids going?
There was a good bit of both. There were a lot of young people. There were actually a couple of families right where we were. We were right down in front of the stage, and they had brought their kids. There was a little guy with a mohawk, and then a little girl. His sister was there, and they got some guitar picks and some drumsticks at the end of the show. The guys walked out and gave them some swag, so I think they had a good time too. So, yeah, go ahead.
Social Distortion has like 2 alternative rock standard songs that are played all the time.
Well, one's The Story of My Life, I think, and then
Everything. Isn't that them? Everything.
Sing it. Sing it.
And then what's the song? Take it away. Take it away.
Sing some more, please.
Yeah, the one I like, one of them that is so good is
Ball and Chain. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, there you go. Ball and Chain. Story of My Life is another. They do a cover of Ring of Fire that is dynamite. They played that. That's on one of their records. So, but
were they on Epitaph Records? Weren't they one of the bands?
Yes. Yeah. Let's see. This is an Epitaph, but I think they were. No, this one's Restless. This one's something called 13th Floor Records. You can see it on my sticker.
But the recent recordings are on that label.
It might be. I'm not sure. Waxed, but I got in the mosh pit a little bit. Got thrown around. It was fun.
Oh God!
Been a while.
That's one thing you do not need to see.
Not as such.
I don't need to see Dr. Robert in a mosh pit.
I think both of us are happier if you don't see me waxed.
Yeah, I haven't been in a mosh pit since the 90s.
Yeah. I almost went a second time, and I thought, no, I think probably why push it? Why? Yeah, that's enough. So yeah, good fun.
How long of a show did they do?
I think they played not quite 2 hours. He came back and did they came back and did what do you call it? God damn, can't even come up with the word. They came back out after they left the stage the first time. Tell me
it's
what
called an encore, Dr. Robert.
Thank you. They did an encore. Sorry. But they did an encore that was long, probably 5 songs long. And I think they finished about 11-ish, and they started right just a little after 9. Yeah, that's about right.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good. Best show I've seen in a while.
I haven't been to a show in a long time.
Where's home for you, Jack?
I live in San Pablo, California, which is north of Berkeley, 10 miles north of Berkeley.
I've been there.
Yeah, actually, I've been here since 81. I bought this house in 81 and still live in it.
Oh, that's got to have been a great investment.
Didn't it used to be a tough area?
It's probably the schools aren't so great, and it's a low. Let's just say that in 81 I could afford it. I paid $81,000 for a house.
Oh man,
house.
That's a steal.
I noticed one in the neighborhood the other day went for $525.
Yeah, at least. And so are you near San Pablo Avenue?
San Pablo Avenue is actually the closest street to my residential. I live on a courtyard that is 2 blocks from San Pablo Avenue.
Nice.
Pretty cool. And next town north is El Cerrito, I think, isn't it?
No, north is Pinole, south is Richmond, El Cerrito.
Okay, you're north of El Cerrito.
I'm north of El Cerrito, Richmond, El Cerrito, Albany, Berkeley,
right,
Oakland, down
right.
down this side of the bay. And Oakland, of course, goes way south down Hayward.
Right. I lived in Oakland for a few years. I was right on Shattuck Avenue, actually.
Sure. My brother took his residency at Highland. He was a trauma surgeon, and for trauma surgery, residency at Highland Hospital in Oakland was pretty damn good.
Plenty of trauma in Oakland, yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember one night we were on the second floor of the apartment complex, and I was woken up by the police outside, and they'd pulled somebody over. They had 2 cop cars, and they'd run their sirens for a minute or two. And one of the cops was showing this Uzi to the other cop, and he said, "See, this is a semi-automatic. With this feature, it would be an automatic, but this one is a semi-automatic."
Yeah, we don't need guns.
Yeah.
We don't need semi-automatics. But yeah, lived here a long time.
Yeah, cool. It's a great place.
Do
you go to is it Down Home Records that's there?
Down Home is the closest record store to my house.
Yeah.
Dave's in Berkeley and Down Home are my 2 favorites. But and then up the creek out in Walnut Creek has got more new stuff, or 1, 2, 3, 4 Go in Oakland has got a lot of new stuff. They've got a lot of Japanese stuff too.
Never been there.
4 Go. They actually, if you look on their website on Mondays, they drop their newest used stuff for sale. They got a lot of stuff, but you know, after a while, it's like, well, I really don't need any more records, but you just want them, you know. You just, well, I never heard that.
I'm familiar with that phenomenon. Yeah.
It's it is what it is, and I've been listening. You know, I listen to a lot of these live streams, and I've been watching Patrick's live stream and all this stuff, but nobody talks about the music that I really go out and like a lot, because it's
what is that?
Well, like Dave Alvin is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, you like the Blasters.
The Blasters and all. There's all these, you know.
Deke Dickerson. You like Deke Dickerson?
Yeah, I went and saw him at the Ivy Room once. Yeah.
He's playing down here next month at the Surf.
Deke Dickerson. Jesse Dayton. You ever heard of Jesse Dayton?
Yeah.
He's got a whole bunch of good records out. Who else have I been listening? The new Ray Benson record with Ray Benson, the singer from Asleep at the Wheel, made a reggae record that's not bad, but you know, it's everybody likes different shit. It's amazing. I finally, after watching the vinyl community for a few years, understand who's buying those records I don't buy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
Some
Zen in the art.
There's just no accounting for taste, right? There's just
Right. I got one I want to show you that.
That's Zen in the art of vinyl collecting. It's just about what you like.
Yeah.
Look, I appreciate a lot of stuff, and
do you want one more record, Ron?
You
want one more record? Oh, let Jack show his.
I got
what record? What record's that?
That's Pearl Harbor and the Explosions.
Wow.
Their only single, and that one. No, this is Leela and the Snakes, but that is Pearl Harbor from Pearl Harbor and the Explosions.
Got it.
Leela and the Snakes. That lady there, she ended up being a traffic reporter in New York and died in a helicopter accident.
Oh shit!
But she was in the movie the Right Stuff, I think it is, the movie with the astronauts and everything went bad.
Great movie.
Excellent single.
Great book. Yeah.
Bootleg. One of my favorite Rolling Stones bootlegs.
Nice.
Very nice.
A record by the Thermals.
I don't know them.
Well, it's kind of an independent band of some sort, but the flip side of this is White Rabbit, and it's a killer version of White Rabbit.
Nice.
And then, of course, Joe King Carrasco, another one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I love Joe King Carrasco. You see it, and his stuff is cheap. And then
I've got a few of his LPs.
This is a record I don't think anybody's probably seen. Haruki Zombie. And you'll notice it's two women, their faces are cut in half. And it's a double single.
What kind of music's that?
It's definitely hard to explain, but Haruki Zombie, one of the women is Orenda Fink, and the other one is Nina Barnes, I think. But Orenda Fink was in Azure or whatever. But she's also my nephew's wife, which is how come I know about her. But she got in a lot of trouble about this record because Haruki Zombie was this kind of event thing where they all dressed up in what's the Japanese stuff, kimonos and all that kind of stuff. And they would have an event where most of the music was being played over a PA, taped music, but videos on all the walls, and all the members of the troupe were dressed up in that Japanese kimonos and stuff. And it just was like craziness for a couple of hours of having big fun and ending up with the whole room full of like blood, jello, and crap all over everybody. An event. That was a long time ago because I ended up going in Omaha with my mom. So that's, geez.
Blood and jello, you said.
Well, it was some kind of red stuff that was getting thrown around.
Go ahead.
No, it was just, it's just, it's nobody ever talks about other stuff like that. Joe King Carrasco is great. He's still playing.
Yeah, he's still around. I saw Cheap Trick and AC/DC opened for them in Omaha when I was probably 18, and somebody threw a lit pack of firecrackers up on the stage while Cheap Trick was playing, and they cut their show short.
Well, nice. The other thing that Omaha is famous for, in 1969 or 1970, in a Rolling Stone interview with Keith Richards, he was asked what the worst show they played on their first American tour, and he said Omaha.
Yeah,
because I guess they had about 600 people at a big, huge arena.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I didn't go. I didn't know about it. Turns out I have a friend that did go, but who knew? I think this was 65. I would have been 15.
My mom still sends us Omaha steaks every year.
Oh yeah. Omaha steaks are not bad. They're not always the best, but they're not bad.
Yeah, they're never bad. That's right.
They my sister used to send me some for Christmas once in a while. Yeah. But
well, I got one more record I was going to show, Waxed.
Oh, Joe Ely, love Joe Ely.
Yeah, right.
Love me some Joe Ely and the Flatlanders.
Yeah, the Flatlanders. He's from Lubbock, Texas, right?
Right.
And this is a live album. This is a British copy, British pressing. He played together with the Clash, and they've got photos of the Clash, the members of the Clash, up on stage with him. I don't know if that projects well, but and then this is Ellen Foley, who was dating not Paul Strummer, but who was she dating? She was dating one of the other members.
Well, Pearl Harbor married one of the Clash.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Pearl Harbor and the Explosions. Pearl she was a local Bay Area act. She just turned 70. Follow her on Facebooks.
Yeah, don't follow me. I'm lost too. Right?
Ellen Foley acted too. She was on the first season of Night Court.
Yeah, the first time I saw Joe Ely, they were opening for the Kinks at the Berkeley Greek Theater.
Oh, cool.
And the opening track, he came out with "I Keep My Fingernails Long" because they click when they play the piano. And it just, I never even heard, it was like, boom, wow.
No, I love that song. That's on this record too.
Yeah. Marcia Ball does that on a covers record too. Marcia Ball's another one she's great.
Yeah.
Shelley King, Carolyn Wonderland. Carolyn Wonderland's new record, her last two records are both real good on Alligator.
She's in the music video. What was the Todd Rundgren band? Utopia?
Could be.
The Crybaby music video. Ellen Foley's in that with him.
She's the subject of Should I Stay or Should I Go? That was written for Ellen Foley because they were kind of breaking up. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
She, Wyoming Dave said she was on the Meatloaf.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. So Jim, so can you talk about, because I don't think we've ever talked here about have we talked about anti-static approaches? Because I need them for my system, man. And I think you do it a lot better than I've been able to.
It's very interesting.
Well, I think some of our audience.
We're getting into the season, and I keep a humidifier because it gets super dry here. When it gets dry, that's when it builds up around here. Electrostatic, whatever. And so I use a humidifier, and I also use a Milty Zero Stat gun. When used correctly, it works, but I've seen some videos about this stuff, and sometimes all you're doing is moving it around from one side of the record to the other. You can push it into the turntable itself, and it'll rise back up. But I have found this Humming Guru thing. It's a lot of money, $300. That seems to ensure that the side you're playing won't have any electrostatic bullshit going on.
So you spray the record before you put it on? Is that what you do?
No. Hold on.
It's a machine.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I don't have that problem. I got one of those Milties and I hardly ever have to use it.
I didn't used to, but all of a sudden my system is really crack pop.
This is the Humming Guru. And it sits, there's a hole right there that goes in your spindle. It sits on your record. You turn it on, and it.
During the whole time it plays, or what?
No, you just do this before you put the record on. I mean, before you play the record. This thing moves. And it spins around, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 times. And your record is not electrostatically charged anymore. I mean, I use the hair on my arm. It gets so bad here that when I approach, the turntable, the hair on my arm will start standing up.
When you treat a record, do you have to treat it every time? Or
it just depends. Yeah. Yeah, you turn it over, you have to do it again. Otherwise, there's just electrostatic bullshit building up.
Yeah.
You when it gets bad, you really have to do it all the time.
But it happens mostly because of the weather, right?
I believe it's the humidity. You know, it's
The lack
the
of
weather.
humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Humidity gets down to single digits around here, and it's unbelievable.
Right. It's dry out in the gorge too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too dry around. Well, it gets dry later. Maybe that's when I need it. Yeah.
75% humidity in New York. I can't even imagine that. I can't even.
Yeah.
I can imagine it, and that's why I like living on the West Coast.
Exactly.
It's hot, but it's a dry heat.
Exactly.
I remember in Omaha, it would get to be like 90% humidity sometimes.
Right. 90 degrees. 90%.
The worst experience I've had is when I have family in Texas. When I've been in Houston during the summer, you can't even breathe outside. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
It gets on the East Coast gets pretty humid too, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I spent a week in New Orleans in the summer. You're just drenched all the time.
Right.
I went to Jazz Fest once and I drenched all the time. And that's in
April,
May.
I was there in July. I was in Boston for 4th of July. That was disgusting. I've been in New York in the summertime. It's gross. You have to only go out at night.
So I told you guys we almost lost our house out in the gorge in a fire out there.
Right.
Started apparently off a railroad track. The train, throws sparks, but it burned everything south of the railroad track, which our place is just right across the road from it on the north side. So it was within about 100 yards of our place, actually. But nothing on our street was touched, thankfully. But that's where I keep all my records. So I thought it was going to be
You got to build one of those fireproof houses, man.
Well, I am going to put in a generator and some fire hose, larger hose, and also kind of trim back the foliage. But so it was a little bit of a wake up call. But yeah, the insurance has gotten jacked up out there since the LA fires like crazy.
Yeah, well,
all I could say is move your records, Dr. Robert.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Or the fireproof houses, they have foam instead of water that they use to put the fire out, so won't destroy your records.
I was out there and there was they're a consulting group, I guess, and they also do intervene. It was 2 women, but they were hired by my insurance company, and they were going door to door and talking to folks and offering their services. Essentially, we didn't need any of it, but the insurance company paid for them to go tour the area. So that was a new one.
What?
Well, like I say, I think had they been needed, they would have intervened and helped us put out a fire in our area. They were
private.
Yeah, they were private firefighters essentially, but I don't know how many houses ended up being lost. You can look it up. It's the Rowena fire. It was like it's well over 20, maybe 40 houses were burned. So.
How often are there fires out there?
Oh, it's frequent, but usually not in our neighborhood. But it's almost every year lately. There's at least one. It has been the last 10 years or so.
Yikes!
Yeah, I know. Part of life now.
Fire!
Yeah. So, do you want one more medical story waxed?
If there's burns involved.
Does it have anything to do with a flaming anus?
Is there anal leakage?
No. This is kind of a charming kind of story.
I want charming.
Yeah.
I doubt very seriously it's charming.
Well,
I will put my foot down. If you feel compelled to tell a medical story, I can't name one that you've ever told that is charming.
Well, I think this one's kind of fun anyway. It's so there So with that, I'm going to launch in. So there is this genetic condition called congenital indifference to pain, and it sounds like it'd be something you would really like. These are people that don't feel, they don't perceive pain in their anywhere in their body, and we had this identical twin pair of Iowa farm boys, and they would come to clinic regularly, and they would get what they would get is like foot ulcers, right? So they would stand in one place or lay in one place, and they don't wake up and move their feet because they don't feel anything, and their foot goes to sleep, and then then a part of their skin and muscle die, and one of them came in one time to clinic. They were both there together. They were always there together. And one of them, at the end of the visit, we were just talking, what's going on, what's not. And one of them says, well, don't you want to show him your box? And the guy gets out his box, this little kind of like a box of matches, and opens it up, and he's got a toe in there. His toe had fallen off. So,
oh wait, because he couldn't feel it.
Oh, wait. How charming.
That is charming. Happened. I can see where the doc would think that would be charming. Look at the look on his face.
Oh, hold on.
I loved it.
When you're in medical school, Dr. Robert, isn't there some sort of class that you take on how you should classify, how you deal with sort of the things you come across? It's like bedside manner, maybe, or something
After
like
telling that story, you must move your records.
I would think on the first day, if I was the instructor of that course, it would be, listen, you people, nothing you will come across in your medical career you could list as being charming.
I think you're channeling the guy in that legal show. Was it John Houseman? John Houseman.
He is the voice. He is the historic voice of authority.
Yeah, well, safe to say I never had an experience like that during my education, but plenty of other things. It was kind of like 5 years of boot camp.
Has anyone ever said to you, Dr. Robert, tell them the toe fell off story?
So did you follow those guys? What else fell off?
Yeah,
there must have been like some really good like chainsaw accidents with those guys, or just even a skill saw.
I did have
drop a fork on your penis.
I'm not going to tell some of those stories. I had some kid.
No, those guys I want to know. Those guys, I want to know what happened to those twins.
I think they just worked the farm and went on with their lives. They were tough as nails.
Except for the parts that fell off.
A toe.
Unless they stepped on a nail.
They chop the hand off and don't even feel it.
My mom was a nurse, an OR nurse, and she had stories that we said to her, please do not tell these stories while we're eating.
Right.
That's fair.
She was given walking orders.
We're not eating.
I had a friend that was a nurse, and she only used to like to tell the stories about the guys riding in on a bicycle without
a seat.
Something up there, with something stuck up their butt.
She told the one story was a guy was chopping wood and went like that.
Wow.
Oh, got his head?
The hatchet was in his head, and they had to remove the hatchet.
Yeah, that would
After that story, we said, no more stories, please.
Well, there was a guy that got rebar right through, all the way through. They had to cut the rebar, take him to the hospital, remove it. He was fine.
That was neurosurgery. That wasn't my department, but I had a guy with a busted leg in the ER once, and I was there, and he also had an open head injury, and bleeding and stuff oozing out of it. And the chairman of neurosurgery at that time was on call, and so he walks up to the wound while his resident is taking a look at it. And he reaches in with an ungloved hand, and he grabs a little tissue out of this head wound, and he goes, "Yeah, that's brain."
All right. I knew a guy, a tall guy. This could have happened to Rob easily. And he had a 10-speed. I had a Huffy.
Yeah, you had the banana seat.
No, So this guy was very tall, and remember chain link fences with the stuff like this at the top of the chain link fence, the wire at the top. This guy's riding his bike, biffs it, and winds up with his mouth on top of the chain link fence.
No.
He was the Joker. That's my favorite. Yeah, that happened to a kid in my neighborhood.
I highly recommend
the top of the chain link
Jim
fence.
and Dr. Robert have the makings of a live stream they should do on their own.
I got a fucking paper cut one day. You know, when you used to have to lick envelopes, I got one right here in the corner.
Ouch.
Deadly. And then you hit it with a little orange juice. I thought it was going to die.
Yeah.
I hate paper cuts.
Yeah.
Well,
I have this
luckily
thing
for
called vasovagal syndrome. You ever heard of it, Doc?
luckily for everyone, time has run out on these awesome ass stories.
That's darn it.
I thank everyone for dropping by.
Thanks for letting me up, Rob.
Yeah.
Happy trails, everybody. Happy
see you
have a
next
great
week.
weekend.
People.
Cheers,
Great
dudes.
weekend.
Watch for my preview video later today. Bye, everyone.